George, not to put too finer points on it, it's obviously been a difficult start to this season. Over the course of your career, have you experienced any tougher scenarios than what you're going through right now?
No, been in kind of sticky situations in League One, but doesn't quite compare to the Premier League and the pressure that brings. But it's one that I relish, and I think we've all just got to stand up and be counted and kind of embrace the challenge. We see painted all over social media, on television, the kind of the stats that say we don't have a chance, but why can't we be that one team that defies the odds and is the first team to overcome it?
Where does that mental strength come from? Because as you point out, in this modern day and age, you can't escape the noise outside of the club, so it's quite interesting that your words, mentally, you seem to be so much stronger to block it out.
Obviously, I believe it's helped just growing up. Obviously, when you're a bit younger, you tend to look at things and look into things a little bit too much, whether that be social media or with what people are saying about you. But I think, obviously, having the kind of beginning in my career that I've had, where I've played at lower divisions, I've seen what it means to people going into match days and fighting for points for their livelihoods, and that's kind of stayed with me for my whole career. That's why it means so much to me. And every game is an opportunity to kind of bridge that gap and put things right. And I just think if you have that attitude going into most games, and it's the only way it can turn. There's no point beating yourself up and worrying too much about the situation. Obviously we're all hurting, but we're lucky that we've got a game this Thursday to try and put it right. And I think you need to move on. And like I said, we understand the situation we're in, and we're all absolutely devastated about the start we've made, but there's no point dwelling on those previous games. You have to move on if you want to achieve anything.
What about Manchester United then? Because we hear after a few results that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's a manager under pressure, but you look at the way their season started compared to yours, and you must have a bemused smile about it.
Yeah, obviously different clubs, different expectations, different pressures, etc. They're a top quality team. They can beat anyone in the world on their day. They've got some fantastic players. They made an unbelievable start to the Champions League campaign and just fell short at the end. But they could be sat in the group stages of the Champions League and top 4, 3, whatever it is in the Premier League, and you look at it and you think that's a pretty decent job. But obviously it's Manchester United, and I don't quite understand the pressures or anything that come with that. But yeah, we know that they're a fantastic team. We had a really tough time after the lockdown period last year away at Old Trafford, where we didn't get near them, didn't lay a glove on them, and we got hurt that day. And we're just itching to get out there and try and amend that, and not only that, try and kickstart our season.
Yeah, tough time at Old Trafford, but if you recall, was it November last year, the home fixture? That was an unbelievable game, wasn't it?
Yeah, watched the highlights of that back not so long ago. We were front foot, aggressive, made it uncomfortable for them, and it was a great game of football. And we definitely deserve something from that game. And that's something to look at and try and get some inspiration from, because the team's not too dissimilar from that team, and we need to kind of, like I said, take inspiration and realise that we can do this, and we can go toe to toe with these teams, and hopefully we can Thursday.
Yeah, when you talk about being on that front foot in that game, has that got to be the approach this Thursday then?
Whatever the approach is, I think the majority of games, 99% of the games under this manager, that has been the approach. I'm yet to train today, so yet to see what tactics he's got in store. But knowing him like I do, then yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Thanks, George.
Cheers. Thank you.
Hi George, it's Andy from Radio Sheffield here.
Hi,
the
mate.
manager's spoken about The manager's spoken about the need for individual responsibility and curing this hesitancy at times. It's clearly not something that can be dealt with like flicking on a switch. What's being done to try and change that mental, fatigue, I suppose, at the moment?
Well, first of all, I totally agree with him. It's easy putting the fingers here, there, and everywhere, but first and foremost, you have to look at yourself. We're not performing individually, collectively as a team, and that needs to change. I mean, it's a lot easier said than done, just to kind of revert back to what you were doing and just get on with it, seeing as the situation we're in. But like I said in the previous question, it's the only way to move forward. You have to stand up, you have to be strong, and you have to kind of, we were all taking all the plaudits last year when things were going well, and when things aren't going so well, this is where you have to show your character. And I believe that the character in that dressing room has the ability to overcome this. And I'd like to think that as individuals, as a team, we'll step it up.
So there's no lack of faith in the game plan and what you're trying to do then?
No, absolutely not. We have complete faith in whatever teams put out there, whatever the manager chooses to do. He's had an unbelievable record here. In his whole career, he's given us opportunities to come to this football club, to play at this level. So 100% faith in anything he says and anything that goes really at this football club.
I wonder how significant then you as a group of players felt then last week when you presumably became made aware that the Prince had said, look, whatever happens, the manager's staying, he's staying next season, he's definitely the man for the now and for the future. Well,
it's music to all our ears, of course, because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are coming up short on the pitch. To question this manager after the kind of moments he's given us all at this football club over the last, for me, 3 seasons, but obviously the League One campaign as well. He's done a remarkable job, and expectation levels change, and we understand that. Like I said, we're under no illusions that we've come up short this year so far. It's been a bitterly disappointing season. Complete contrast to last season. But like I said, there's no point in dwelling on that now. Obviously, we need to step it up. We need to improve, and we need to get out of this mess that we're in. And that's got to be the mindset. It's just we have to be better.
Let's look to the future. You've committed yours to Sheffield United for an extra couple of years. Why now, timing wise?
Because I love playing for this football club. It's great that they've rewarded me so soon after the last contract. I love playing for this football club, and I love playing for the manager. And it's just it's a good fit. And happiness is a big part of a successful kind of good life. And I'm happy playing for this football club. Obviously, be a lot more happy when we start winning again. But it's been a great 3 years for me, 3 seasons, and long may it continue.
And clearly, it's a long-term project for you. Then, whatever happens in the next few months.
Yeah, but we're not ready to give up yet. Like I said before, we've seen the stats, we've seen the kind of daunting things being said on TV about after 12 games or whatever it is and 1 point. But there's an opportunity there to be that one team that comes out of it and makes history. Obviously, we understand it's going to be tough. It's easy to sit here and say next game. We do obviously look at the previous games and understand that we've been nowhere near good enough. But we still have an opportunity with 20 odd games left to try and put things right, and that's got to be the attitude going forward.
And to that end then, just finally from me, I wonder how significant it is that you're not really a group of shrinking violets. Adversity comes in different forms along the last 3 years, doesn't it? But there's a real strong kind of leadership group within the group.
There is, yeah, and like I said before, we all need to stand up and be counted. Each and every one of us, whether you're in that kind of leadership group, whether you're on the sidelines, whether you're not making the squad, everyone needs to pull together now, because it benefits everyone at this football club to stay in the Premier League, and that's got to be the mindset. We can't be giving up now. We understand, like I said before, it's a tough ask, but it's one that we're fully committed to putting everything into, and it'll be the best feeling of our careers if we overturn this, and it will definitely trump what we did last year.
Good man. Best of luck tomorrow.
Cheers.
Ian.
Hi George, how are you?
Good, pal. How are you?
Yeah, good. You say it will trump everything you did last season if you stay up. I mean, with only 1 point so far, the stats will point to that being difficult. Do you think this would be the greatest of great escapes the Premier League's ever seen?
I'm not too sure. You'll probably know the stats more than me. There's a lot that I've seen in my past when I was younger where teams leave it right down to the wire and kind of survive by the skin of their teeth. Obviously, we're talking about great escapes with 20 odd games to go. 20 odd opportunities to get wins. Obviously, the longer we leave it, of course, we understand it's harder and harder. And on any other given season, we could be 12, 13, 14 points adrift. So, what are we now? 9. It's obviously, like I said, it doesn't look great, but it's an opportunity to put things right in upcoming games. And if we build up a run of form, then who knows?
Chris slapped me down pretty quickly earlier in the season when I mentioned 2 words or 3 words: second season syndrome. Do you think there is anything to that teams, I won't say it worked you out, but got to see what you were about last year?
I think they're definitely showing us a lot more respect. But in terms of second season syndrome, it's easy just to throw that one out there. We've had key players injured. Obviously, I think us more than any team in the league misses the fans. You see some other players who at other clubs who are technically very gifted, who potentially when the fans weren't showcasing that due to whatever reason, but now they're away and that pressure's kind of taken away. You see them now become unbelievable footballers. Whereas we thrive on that kind of pressure, that fan kind of relationship we have. And yeah, we're definitely missing them. But like I've said before in many interviews, that's no excuse. We understand the position we're in, the position the country's in, and we can't wait to get them back. But I definitely feel like we've missed them.
Couple more. Firstly, on United, people always raise their game when they play against the bigger teams. Man United, despite the fact that their form is in and out, are still very much seen as a bigger team, especially away from home.
Yeah, like I said, they've got great players, especially at the top of the pitch. They've got some world-class players that we're going to have to be our absolute best and more to keep them at bay. So we understand the task in hand, but you saw, although like I said, disappointingly didn't get a result, we went to Anfield against probably the best team in the league and really gave them a game. So we have to take that belief into this game. There's no point just getting all starry-eyed and looking at Manchester United because of all the good players they've got. That wasn't the attitude last season at Bramall Lane, and it's definitely can't be the attitude this year.
And finally, the club sticking with Chris Wilder and 100% Sheffield United legend. As we're seeing today, those decisions have become more difficult, and some clubs don't make them. I mean, lots of noise about Slaven Bilic maybe leaving West Brom. As players, how much are you grateful that the manager has got the backing of the people that own the club?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, he's given a lot of us, nearly all of us now, the opportunity to come to this football club, to improve, to work in a great environment, and biggest of them all, he's stuck with us and given us that opportunity to play Premier League football, which is every kid's dream, and it was a first for a lot of us. So we need to repay that faith. We did that last year, but come up short a little bit this year. So yeah, it's great that he's got the backing and fully behind him to help us get back to where we need to be.
Good luck, George.
Cheers, thank you.